Hey, are you letting the neighbors come over and get free gas? When I first started looking into EV charging in the hospitality industry, I reached out to some people I knew and properties I knew around me and different things like that. And it was funny. I stopped down at a property not far from me, and that I had driven by quite a bit actually on my way to work and stuff. And so I'd seen that property, and I stopped by to see them, and I said, "Hey, how's your EV charging going? How do you like it? What do you think about it? What are, what's great about it? What's bad about it? Right? Just trying to get some feedback." And so the gentleman there that was the manager said, "Man, we love them. Like, look out there now. Like, there's, two or three cars plugged up." He goes, like, we see it almost every night and every day. There's cars in our parking lot, you know, using our chargers. So I was like, oh wow, like this was like different than most places that I'd run into, right? So I wasn't sure, and I was like, okay, great, got some good information. I walk out. So as I'm walking out, I'm like, let me walk by these chargers. Let me see if I can, what's going on. And so when I walk by, there's only two cars when I walked by there and looked, but both of them, like, so in the state of Georgia, it has the county that you're from on your license plate. So the funny thing was, I noticed they were both from the same county where we live, where this hotel is. So it made me wonder, like, okay, I wonder who's really using these. So like I said, it wasn't far. I was driving by it all the time. And I said, let me swing by every now and then. And I could see it as I drove by, and I paid attention. Well, those same silly cars were there at least 3 times a week charging. So what they were people that lived in the neighborhood right behind the hotel. They would come up, park their car, plug it in, walk home, because they were getting free gas from this hotel. And the GM and everybody had no idea. They just saw a car plugged up and assumed those people were staying at their hotel. So that brings me into best practice number 4. And by the way, these best practices are not in any particular priority order, right? They're all pretty important. As you can imagine, this is, right? Access control. How are we making sure that the right people are the ones using our chargers, that we have control on that, and that we're not giving away free gas, and we're protecting against that theft? So that's what today's topic is about, is access control. So as you can imagine, if you're hospitality, you understand access control, right? It's just like a room key to get in your room. That same key might get you into the fitness center. It might get you into the front door after hours, but it's not going to get you into the maintenance room. It's not going to get you into the supply room if you're a guest. Now, your maid walks around with a different access key, right? Their codes are a little different. They can get access into the laundry room. They can get access into the supply room. So that's access control. That's what we're talking about here, and how we manage chargers. So traditionally, this is done through software or some type of more hard-coded scenario, like a key or a keypad where you can punch in a code. But for the most part, you're going to see these network chargers have some way of controlling them. You control the access and at least charge guests for using them. So what you want to do when you're planning out your EV charging solution when it comes to access control is think about first, who do you want to let use your chargers? Are you letting anybody use them? Is it registered guest only? Is it the hotel across the street? Want to know all that, like, who do we want to let use them? And then how do you think you'd like to manage that? Okay, because there's different ways. Like I said, the property, and we have some now that we do with RFID cards, and they just keep them behind the front desk, and they will say, I need, $10 or whatever, or some of them don't even charge. We have some properties that do not charge for the charging, and they'll just control the access from the front desk. Then we have others that put them on our mobile app, and then they charge based on the fees that they want to charge the guest. So that's where you want to start with, like, think about those things. And then do you want to integrate with your like with your keying and your access control system in the building, do you want to have, that be added to the guest's credentials so that they can use the chargers? Those are your base sides of it, right? Then you get into more nuanced ideas to think about when it comes to access control. And that's kind of combined with the first thing that we talked about, which is charging rates, where you'll start to combine groups with specific rates or specific times of day. Like, so you might decide that, you know what, my best solution would be for me to charge the guest and only allow guests to use it from 6 at night to 9 in the morning. And then I'm going to open it up from 9 in the morning to 6 at night for public use, and maybe charge a higher rate for that because it's not my guest, right? And I don't care who uses it, but if they drive by and want to charge for an hour, who cares? So there's things like that you want to look at. Make sure that your system's going to allow for special groups, because we all know those diamond members are coming, right? Like, they're going to be coming. They're going to be knocking on the, they're going to be reaching out there by like, oh, I want discount charging. So we're going to have to control that access, right? How do we know if they're a diamond member, and how are you going to give that person a discounted rate? And then a little bit further down, you might run into scenarios where there's employees. We have properties that have employees that drive EVs. So, with our system, we can create them special rates. The employee, some places they'll give it away. Some places will charge the employee the cost of power. And then we also have properties that are using EV charging to negotiate some corporate sales, right? Like, so they'll say, hey, maybe you've got an office complex that's not far from you, where you might get some corporate tenants or corporate visitors, where you can say, hey, you guys come in X number of room nights per month, we can get you a deal, and we can also throw in some discounted charging rates for you. You just got to make sure we know who your people are, and we'll get them registered. So those are things that access control can do for you. So really think those through, think about the different ideas out there, and make sure you get the system you need to help you build the right system, right? So that's it. If you want some more information on this, as always, reach out to sales@stayincharge.com. And I hope this information helps you better understand EV charging. See you next time.